Okay, let me tell you a story about how this works because I don't want you running out doing this one thing and then having it not work and tell me, why did you tell me to do that? It didn't work or have a bad experience. So, before I tell you what it is, let me explain the backstory. Okay, then I'll tell you what this thing is that most homeschool parents, most parents for that matter, just underuse so much. So, few years ago, I think this had to be 2017 or 18. I was helping homeschool my teenage nieces. So this was well before the pandemic, and I wanted them to do horseback riding. Uh-oh, hold on, my kids are coming. You're gonna have to wait a second. Good boy, Teddy. Okay, it was the neighbor's kids. Sorry, not my kids. Hopefully they don't come back for a while. So anyway, good boy, Teddy. Okay, so anyway, they were homeschooling. And I wanted them to do horseback riding. And so we enrolled them in a Black owned horseback riding organization in the Baltimore area. Now, in addition to, you know, that when we teach as teachers or homeschoolers, subjects are kind of interdisciplinary. So it technically counted as our physical education, but I also wanted it to count as science. In Maryland, we have homeschool reviews. And so I was putting this down as physical education and as science. And so I did like the whole animal science thing with them. Now, sorry, I'm out of breath from running to my door and back. So we got there, right? We signed up. Hold on, let me add this to kind of give you guys a good visual. There we go. We got there, City Ranch. And so for a couple of months, my nieces were doing the whole horseback riding thing. The owner there, Mr. Don, was teaching them, as you can see here, and some of the other people there were teaching them as well. Now, a little backstory for me, I had rode in high school for a year and also in college for about 2 years, just recreationally. So while they were learning, I was kind of relearning everything in the terminology as well. And so he taught the girls these lessons, right? Remember, they're homeschooled, so they're doing this stuff during the day, which normally wouldn't be the case. Like they really wouldn't have students during the day like that. And so I don't exactly remember how this happened, but somehow like they were like, oh, do you want to ride as well? And I said, well, yeah, it's been a while. I'm helping the girls out here. I'll get on and I'll join their lesson too. So I got on and joined their lessons as well. And then at some point in those first couple of months, the girls also started to we asked them if we could do a garden there because they have so much space. Up and here comes the ad. Sorry, let's just ignore that. We asked them if they could do a garden because they just had so much space there. He said yes. It was very, very hard to do, right? So now, in addition to getting their horseback riding lessons, learning about animal science from me, they were also doing gardening. A little bit after they finished, I think I was still going there, like taking care of the garden. And there were two homeschoolers who had come and were taking lessons as well. Now, one of these days, I think something happened with whoever was instructing them, and that instructor couldn't come. So they asked me to fill in. Now, mind you, I haven't rode in years. So I wasn't thinking they meant, can you go and teach these girls the lesson? I thought they meant like, can you just like go and tell them about horses or something? And I was like, sure. No, they wanted me to actually teach the lesson. So I had the girls get up on the horses and, just go around. We just had a cute little great time. I talked to their moms and found out like why each girl was homeschooling. Apparently they were a part of a homeschool pod and they didn't really get along with the pod. That's another story. But anyway, so they broke out of the pod and just started to do stuff with their two girls who were just quiet, shy kids whose personalities came out when they were able to just hang out together. That being said, the next week he reached out and said, hey, can you come back? They've requested you to do their lessons from now on. I'm like, oh, wow. Well, like, why? he didn't really know. But then I realized, the purpose of them homeschooling was because they didn't want their kids in like a high stakes, high pressure environment. They're very sensitive kids. And our other instructor, who was amazing, an amazing writing instructor, like I want my kids to learn from her. She's so good. Was it's more like traditional writing instructor, toes up, back straight, whatever, like get control of your horse, right? So a little bit more tough. And the parents just liked my kind of laid back style of, you're homeschooling, whatever, girls, pet the horse. You don't want to ride today? It's fine. You can pick flowers over there in the field near the horses. It's totally fine, right? So because of that, they wanted me to come back. And he mentioned like, hey, how about they can't pay me. It's a nonprofit. It's like, well, we can't pay you, but why don't we're having some other adults come in. Why don't you take lessons with these adults? And I was like, oh, wow, that sounds like amazing. I have some free time. I actually get to do something that I want to do in exchange for just coming in every weekend, teaching 2 homeschooled kids a writing lesson. And so it became kind of like a barter situation. And that's what this video is about today, is taking the power of barter and making it work for you. So there was no way that I was going to pay for, I ended up staying for a while. So I was not going to pay like $900 for me to ride that semester, but I was willing to give up once a week, an hour and a half, and teach these girls to ride. And they didn't even want to get on the horses. They really just wanted to pet the horses. So that was awesome. That was a great exchange for me, but also the riding school would have had to pay like an instructor a significant amount of money as well. So it was a great exchange on both sides. Not saying it was even. They would have probably had to pay an instructor more than, me just taking a semester of riding. But it was a good exchange for me. I liked being there. I started helping out, etc. So when we have a chance to go back there, now I'll be able to, I can't pay for my kids to have riding lessons. Horseback riding lessons are so expensive. It's cheaper there, but like horseback riding on top of basketball, soccer, art lessons, all this type of stuff, who can pay for all of that? I don't know, not me. So instead of like paying for that, I'm going to ask them, hey, like, you want me to teach another homeschool class? You want me to help out around the farm? What can I do in order to basically make our lessons free? So that's what I wanted to talk about. And now I wanted to also say, like, the reason I told that story is because we developed a relationship with the people there over a short period of time, right? So I'm not saying like go out and barter and send cold emails and text messages to people and be weird, but I'm saying develop relationship with people in your community, with organizations and businesses in your community. You may go to, a small art shop, take your kids there every semester. Maybe they've seen you 3 or 4 times, and maybe they have art classes and you want to take art classes, but you can't afford them. Maybe you can barter some skill that you have. Now, about the skill, because I know a lot of you are thinking, well, I don't know how to ride horses. I don't have any big skill. I didn't know how to ride either, because that wasn't actually the skill. The skill was not riding horses or being a great horse trainer. The skill was just recognizing like, oh, these are homeschooled people. They don't want an environment like you're giving them. They want this environment. So like, let me provide them with that environment. So I really want you to think about, what skill do you have that you may not even recognize? That's something I get told all the time. I'm like, obviously, this is how you should teach kids. Like, this is how you should talk to them. And I don't even realize sometimes that that's a skill that people have to develop. So what do you have like that you can tap into? Now, maybe it's not a skill like painting, right? Maybe you can't paint them a mural or develop anything else for them, but maybe your skill is you like to travel, and maybe they need someone, like at our horseback riding thing, they needed people like for a movie once. That's a lot of people didn't want to do. They need people to travel far and do stuff that some people didn't want to do. Maybe you like traveling and you can pitch in and fill in there. So I just thought of a few random examples that come to my head that I wanted to share with you guys, but then I think it's important that you go back and you start to brainstorm for yourself. Okay, what skills do I have? And you might have to ask other people in your life, like, hey, what skills do I have that not everybody else has, that you can think about in the next coming months as you're registering for all this stuff that you're registering for. And like, what skill can I offer people in exchange for things so that I don't have to pay so much money? And on top of that, maybe you can even start charging for that or making a little business out of it down the line. Because as I was there, I was just thinking, oh, wow, this is something that, maybe I could do. Maybe this could actually make money, not only make money for the farm, but maybe I charge the parents for a little work packet that I make up. So that way you're having money flowing into your homeschool instead of constantly going out of your homeschool. So let's take a look at, oh, I've got to share my screen over here. Let's see. So this is Canva. I have talked about Canva before, but it's just basically a place where you can go and make worksheets and other stuff, more than just worksheets. But I got the idea when I went to an animal. Why is this doing this? Sorry. I went to an animal clinic a few months ago with the kids, and they basically had like a little workbook that looked like this, that was free, that they were giving away to the kids. And I thought, wow, they actually paid somebody to produce these worksheets, like these, not an animal. Did I say clinic? I meant animal shelter. They actually produced this that says like so and so animal shelter, and it literally looks like this, and it's like 4 pages of like questionable grammar of telling kids, do not pull a dog's ear, do not pull dog's tail, right? Very, very basic. And it just got me thinking, like, wow, if they actually paid for that, like what else would they pay for? Or what else could you exchange with people? It would be pretty easy, it seems like to me, for you to approach. Let's say you don't have money to go to the pumpkin patch, or you don't want to spend that money to go to the pumpkin patch. It would be pretty easy to go to a locally owned farm with some materials like this and say, hey, I'll do like a word sort for your pumpkin patch, or develop some worksheets from this. Don't show them this, obviously, but give them some samples. Like, I'll develop a worksheet like this for your farm in exchange for you allowing me and my 4 kids and husband to come up here and spend the day and take pictures, etc. And if you don't believe me, I want you to take a look at, this is the National Aquarium's scavenger hunt, which is just so basic. But sometimes, like, not basic in a bad way, just sometimes you just need something real basic. Like, we have schools, teachers, and homeschoolers coming to the aquarium. We need a 2-page worksheet to give them so that they can check off their, okay, we did something academic for the day. So this is not hard to create if you feel like you have the ability to simply take something from Canva and do it. Okay, let's see. Other ideas. Okay, I have like 3 other ideas, and I'm going to go because I really do hear the kids coming now. Oh, bartering your time. And this is something I feel like about, because you don't want to barter too much of your time. But one resource we do have as homeschool parents is time. Because you don't have like may not have a specific job that you have to go out to do. So you have more flexibility, right? So are you able to spend 1 to 3 hours per week for a designated period of time helping out with the community garden so that you get a free plot, right? Or, I don't know, delivering books for the local bookstore so that your kids can like choose free books or something like that. Make sure that you keep it businessy in the way that you have a written contract. Now, that doesn't have to be like a legal contract, right? But it should be like a text or an email where you lay out, after you guys chat, hey, Mrs. So-and-so, good talking to you. Okay, so I just want to clarify everything here. For this semester, I'm going to be coming once a week, helping out with this in exchange for so-and-so's piano lessons. Bam, there you go. That way, like, you're not pushed into doing more than what you signed up for. And the other side also doesn't feel like you're not doing enough. There are some other things that I feel like are good for bartering situations, but you have to make sure that you actually have that skill to do it. I remember a few years ago, I sewed some dresses, like some outfits for a school that was doing like a little African end of the year thing. I think I sewed like maybe 25 skirts or something like that and some ties for the boys. It took up my time, but it didn't really cost me any money because I already had the fabric and the material. Of course, I could have asked them to pay for that. But in exchange, I think my kids, oh, yeah, that's right. They had like some little free drum lessons or something like that, right? But I wouldn't say, yeah, I'll sew these skirts if I can't sew skirts properly, right? Or even without them seeing. So what happened was I actually went into the store and they were like, "Oh my gosh, your kids' clothes are so cute. Where did you get those?" "Oh, I made them." "Oh, um, can you make them for us?" "Yeah, it costs this much." And they're like, "Wow, I can't pay that." And I said, "Well, I can't afford to have my kid in drumming lessons. So maybe, we can exchange that service." And we did that. So that is something else. Another idea. So we are going to start basketball lessons, and I don't think they'll be too expensive, but if they are, the league has the option of parents being coaches. And so although I was played basketball a long time ago and I'm super out of shape right now, I'm in shape enough to coach. Okay, I can tell you what to do properly. I can teach some kids how to play basketball. And so I might have to choose taking the option of coaching basketball this season so that my kids can get into take basketball lessons. And it may not always be like, oh, I can't afford this, but like when you start stacking stuff, as you guys know, homeschooling can get pretty expensive. Like basketball season, horseback riding, curriculum, field trip 1, field trip 2, field trip 3, field trip 4, all that you're getting into the thousands of dollars over the year. So if you do see an opportunity where you can barter something, why not do it? And the awesome thing about sports leagues is that they end. I don't know about sometimes swimming is year round, but I know with basketball, when the season ends, the season is over. We're not doing rec league where we go all year round. We are doing just at home basketball season, 3-4 months. I'm coaching, then we're out of there. And then my final thing is like just personal favors. As homeschool parents, you have, or teachers, you do have the skill of teaching. And you may feel like some days you're not good at it, but you're better than you were when you started. And you're better than some parents who may not homeschool at all. And so one of the things parents always ask me is, hey, can you tutor my child? And my answer is almost 99.999% no, because it takes a lot of time and effort and energy to tutor somebody's child. But if you're in a position where you can tutor once a week or twice a week or whatever it may be in exchange for something else. So if you do a personal favor, that personal favor for a business owner, like tutoring their child, maybe they can give you something in return. So think about that. Oh, I did have one more. Final one I had was I actually have a friend who, I don't know if he works or owns a private gym, right? And so that is something that takes money out of just our budget every month. Gym membership, it's like $200 or $300 a month. Maybe you can switch over to that private gym in exchange for doing something for that company. And one thing I noticed that a lot of companies have not got done well on is social media. So if you're the type of person who's just naturally good at social media, remember, you don't have to be an expert. You just need to be better than them. Like, that your dentist posting a picture of a bright and shiny teeth is not going to get them any attention. They got to be on there dancing or something, right? If you at least know that, then you can offer, hey, I will help you with 12 social media posts. I will do consultation with you in exchange for, free gym membership every month. Speaking of consultation, you guys have a lot of knowledge about things that you may not even know. Like, just think about things that you have done that other people have not. I know a lot of you have published books, and that's a goal for a lot of parents. that I find they want to self-publish. Well, why don't you have a consultation with them? Okay, maybe I can tell you how to self-publish a book. You're just telling them what you did, who your suppliers are, in exchange for so and so, X, Y, and Z. So try it out this year. See how it works for you. Don't get discouraged if they say no, because I think a lot of people, first of all, are a little bit suspicious. Like, why are you trying to, like, what is the end goal here, right? They don't see why you would do something like that. Also, some people don't see the value in exchanging services, and you kind of have to show them. Um, Also, you need to have that relationship there. Like, I cannot imagine having reached out to that horseback riding place and been like, "Hi, my name is Akiba. I'm a certified teacher turned homeschool mom. Can I like teach lessons there? And in exchange, you'll give me free riding lessons?" They would have been like, delete. Like, who are you and what are you talking about? So try to let it come across naturally. And if it's a no, that's okay, because so many times I've heard no, but then 6 months later, actually, yeah, now we kind of see the value in that. So that is my spiel for today. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you later.